Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Wait, Are These Guys Friends? I am Mike, and I am here with Randy. Randy, I have bad news for you.
Uh-oh.
The Earth is fucked. There's been an overall push to eliminate all creativity in media. There's been too much free thinking. So all the movies
This is
ever.
a premise, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. No, this is a bit, everybody. You're right. I may have based the bit off the way I feel about things, but I guess I should stop and say yes. This is a bit. But all right, put your yeah. Just I would like you to note that if you're not watching on YouTube, he winked. If you if you are just listening to this, I was gonna say if you're just listening to this, I'm not sure how well your wink came through. but we're gonna put our masks back on. All
All
right.
right.
So yes, there's been an overall push to eliminate all creativity in media. There's too much free thinking. All movies everywhere are being incinerated. However,
Mhm.
don't ask how. Don't ask what shameful things I had to do. I've pulled some strings. And we are going to be able to save a handful of films from specific decades. Today, we are going to be allowed to select the films that were survived from the 90s. And we are going to get to save 14 films. Randy and I are each going to pick a different film from 7 different genres for the entire decade. Now, moving forward, this is all that's going to be left to watch from the 1990s. What will you save for your children's children's children to enjoy and appreciate from 1990 to 1999? Pressure is on. Everything else getting shoved out the airlock, incinerated. You'll never see it again.
Yep. And
Uh,
this, I will say, with this premise forward, I did have to consider my favorite movies versus movies that could be rewatched, movies that could stand the test of time, appeal to a little bit more of a broader audience, or at least have some sort of cachet. So it's not just like, oh, I picked this one movie that I really, really like. And then, Mike, you're like, well, fuck, this is one of the 14 movies we have.
and and I would have been fine with that because it is your choice, to be fair. You can
Right.
choose while we're talking to go, you know what? I was given this power for humanity.
Trying
And
to help the viewing public,
and,
at least.
and everyone is going to have to accept that Mannequin 2 on the Move is, wait, is that from the 90s or is that like 1988? No, the original was 88. When's Mannequin 2 come out?
You're right.
1991, Mannequin
Oh
2 on the
boy.
Move. So, yeah, so, although the fact that I had to Google the year probably shows that I didn't actually pick it for anything.
So and then didn't you add the caveat that aren't we doing 16 films technically because we're doing one terrible movie?
Oh, I forgot. Yes, I wrote that intro before we decided that the extra bit is we are going to decide, like, there's one movie we get to push the button on the incinerator for in the decade to go, you know what? No, you're done here. You're done here.
The most satisfying one for sure.
Exactly. That said, our categories are a few basics, obviously: drama, comedy, action, horror. Randy and I tend to always pick a wild card just because we like to be able to choose extra things, and it's nice to have a little freedom. There are 2 genres that kind of fit in other areas. We did add family film because that could be a drama, it could be a comedy, but it's a very specific type of thing that is a family movie that could fit in its own, thing. And then one that Randy and I went back and forth on, because this was my idea, and he was like, "Can you just not pick a movie?" I was like, "No, this is a real thing." I stand by it. Is the popcorn film, and I feel like to a lot of people, a popcorn film, they think, "Oh, it's a big action movie," and that's often part of it. But to me, a popcorn film is dumb fun that bends genres. Most popcorn films are some blend of comedy, action, sci-fi. They're fun, they're rollicking, and they're probably a little bit B movie in that regard. They could be big budget, top tier productions, but at their core, they're probably a little bit of a B movie.
May
But
stretch the definition on my pick, but we'll get there when we talk.
oh no, it's fine. Well, it's fine. Listen, again, you could also just been like, no, Mannequin 2 is an action movie. It counts. Randy, why do you keep picking Mannequin 2? There was a fight scene. There's a chase. It counts. It's your pick. I don't care.
Spoiler: 5 different categories.
Man,
Mannequin too.
Randy, you're supposed to save 7 films, and you saved 1 film You saved seven
Forget it.
you saved 7 copies of one film. You saved it on DVD,
It's the most
VHS,
important
Blu-ray.
disc.
You actually took a gun to the man who crafted 4K discs before these films are going to be exploded and forced him to craft a 4K upscan of Mannequin 2. It's wild.
Was Laserdisc still technically a thing in the 90s?
Oh, yeah. Laserdisc. The height was the 90s. There's a Laserdisc. You're right. My bad. You have all 7 versions packed up and ready to go. The guy from Herman's Head, the guy from Designing Women, and Christy Swanson?
I don't know. I've never actually seen Mannequin 2. So.
Oh, it's fucking terrible. That's why I keep making jokes about it. I just gotta see. It is Christy Swanson who's the mannequin. Thank you for your time. Also, for a movie about another character that is seemingly not alive but often looks alive, the guy from Weekend at Bernie's is the bad guy in it.
Oh.
So, just a odd little Terry Kaiser getting work. Incidentally, real quick, before we started, I was like, Randy, we don't have time to do what we watched. But in my mind, apparently we do have time to do a 15-minute bit on Mannequin 2
aside.
Oh, God. Incidentally, the plot this time actually isn't even about a mannequin that's got like that comes to life.
It's like an Egyptian,
yeah, it's like a
right.
Well, it's there's a curse, and then it becomes medieval, and then she's really a princess. It's really bad. Christy Swanson's a peasant girl who gets a curse placed on her, and then becomes seemingly a mannequin, and then the guy from Herman's Head has to wake her up. All right. Anyway, this is the Mannequin 2 podcast.
Apparently.
It didn't have a banger song, like nothing's going to stop us now, I'll tell you that. All right, let's get to the main topic for real. What do you want to start with? Comedy, action, popcorn, horror, drama, family, wild card? Want to burn your movie first? What do you want to do? I'll leave it up to you.
Let's start. I just have it on my list as comedy is the first one, so let's start there.
Great. Because of that, I'll let you go first, and I'll do the next topic, whatever it is.
All right. I went kind of back and forth and didn't want to. Oh, and should we say that if one of us, when we go the others, then we
there has to be 14 saved films.
Yep.
We can't go, well, I guess this one's the only one. No, there will be a choice for each of us.
I'm going to pick a comedy that didn't do great at the box office, picked up a lot of steam afterwards. I think was still really relatable, is incredibly kind of odd funny, if that's a weird. There's a lot of jokes that kind of come out of left field. It's immensely quotable and pretty relatable because it was about any kind of Office Space comedy, and that's Office Space. I'm picking 1999's Office Space.
The way you just set that up, if you had said anything other than Office Space, I was like, oh wow, okay, my bad.
The turn.
No, that's great choice.
I'm a giant.
I did not expect it, but great choice.
Yep. I wanted something that not only relatable, but there's a lot of nice little pieces within it. So it is a movie that can be watched in its entirety, but can kind of be picked up on at any time if it happens to be on. Now this is different because we'll have 14 movies at anyone's disposal, but if so, maybe is that how cable networks are going to go now? It's just they run these 14 movies.
I didn't think about TV. Let's not worry about TV right now. That's too much.
Fair enough.
They're just getting rid of movies, we'll say.
But I'm a big fan of Mike Judge's type of comedy anyway. This was was this his first movie? I think it was.
I think so. This came off Beavis and Butthead's success just before King of the Hill. It's in that year before. It's the Gap Year Project, which is what a Gap Year project.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest. As much as I like Idiocracy more.
Interesting. So I like Idiocracy, but I think this, just with all the different casting components, a little like throwaway lines. There's so much that's a lot of fun. I mean, I and my friends, we had an old crappy boombox in our apartment my sophomore year in college. We destroyed it, much like the printer, and played Ghetto Boys. Very easy watch, but a lot of really good laughs, a lot of out there laughs that kind of come out of left field. There's some really just funny, weird things in it.
Mhm.
that make a lot of sense through all the characters, and the casting is just phenomenal. Even though it's not a lot of like huge big names, maybe Jennifer Aniston probably the biggest
Well,
name, Gary
but
Cole, but
and I remember that Jennifer Aniston doing this movie at all. I was like 13 when this came out, and yeah, I still remember that it was like a really big deal because she was mid Friends. This was like year 2 or 3 of Friends, so it was like a huge deal that she was doing this in any way. And then I think it was also a bigger deal that it didn't tear the house down. It was like, oh, Jennifer Aniston can't make a successful movie. Derp, 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 derp. Meanwhile, it becomes the massive cult hit that it does. Is it still considered a cult hit, or did it eventually transcend to just, I don't want to say lower tier, but it's lower tier mainstream hit at this point?
yeah, I wonder if like Judge's success and a whole bunch of other stuff made it just kind of part of his repertoire, right? So that became like I think the cult classic part of it was also the fact it didn't do very well at the box office, but
Yeah.
also that it was, oh, this guy from Beavis and Butthead, and now all of a sudden he has a whole bunch of other things
And like
that
some
contributes more to mainstream.
and like so many things, it came out its cult status grew in an era when Comedy Central could play it 10 times a week.
And
So
they
like,
did.
right. So there's a certain point where it was cult, but now I've seen this movie 15 times. So not say that's bad. You know how many
Yeah.
times back in the day I watched the same movie and over because it was on? A million times. But that can grow a movie's audience in that way.
I think too
And
it has a very lasting uh just from the culture. I mean,
oh
PC
yeah.
load letter, what the fuck does that mean? Is like a used in
Yep.
common things when something goes awry. Like it just
Uh,
there's things from this that have permeated the culture, not just, oh, it was a funny line in a movie.
Bill Lumbergh's speech patterns are every corporate America boss, and people mimic that.
Yeah,
His voice patterns, I truly think, have become one of those things that some people mimic without knowing that they're mimicking someone mimicking a movie. Like,
sure.
you know how like it just becomes a thing. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna need you to." It's like, oh, you. I think some people are just doing that because they've heard people make fun of bosses, and they don't realize at this point that that's just Office Space.
Yeah, it's just, and there's a lot of different components of that. Like I wouldn't call it working Bob. Like I'm sure like that becomes like a callback to, oh, you haven't, how's working going, that kind of thing. It's there's a lot of things that, like you said, people aren't 100% sure that it's from that movie. It's just become spoken so much in day-to-day life.
Totally fair. And now, one thing that I wanted to look up for your film before I continued on to my film is
Mhm.
I was looking up Roger Ebert reviews for all of these films, and I
Yep,
see he gave your choice for comedy 3 out of 4.
3 stars.
We're starting off on a high note from Mr. Ebert, because believe me, he can be a picky motherfucker.
He likes things that are a little bit more tongue in cheek. Like that
Yeah,
seems to be comedy. He is very, I don't know, uh
yeah.
critical of if he doesn't like it at all. But if things have a little bit behind them, I think he's a big fan of that. So he sees other influences in this movie, and that's why he liked it.
What a transition. He's
Right.
very critical of things that he doesn't like when he doesn't like them, because there was an entire Siskel and Ebert episode, a full 30-minute special in 1995 dedicated, that I forget the name of the title, but the point was, why is Jim Carrey popular? Like, what the fuck is happening here? Because we have given bad reviews to everything he's ever done, and now he's making $20 million a picture. What the fuck is happening? That wasn't quite the title, but believe me, that was
Yep.
the vibe. And that's because my comedy pick is Dumb and Dumber. And
Okay.
so he only gave it 2 out of 4 stars. And it was a thing of, when I thought of movies from the 90s, my favorite, I started branching out and thinking of my favorite comedies, and there's reasons. Comedy's so subjective, obviously. There's
Mhm.
so many different reasons you could like different things. And I was trying to think, what just made me fucking full on laugh? Not wry smirk or chuckle politely, or even just watch with a smile on my face the whole time, which is a delight. I like it when that happens. What made me fucking guffaw? And there's a handful, and my top 2 picks were actually both Farrelly Brothers movies. I was having a real fight between this and Kingpin for the top spot. So, in no particular order, my list was Dumb and Dumber, Kingpin, Groundhog Day, Dogma, Mallrats, Tommy Boy, American Pie, Bowfinger, Wayne's World, Ace Ventura, and The Mask. And it says something to me that that 3-film run, that so confounded Roger Ebert. All three of those made my shortlist because those are just phenomenal. But why did Dumb and Dumber come out on top of all of them and those three Jim Carrey movies? Because it just made me guffaw so much then. It still makes me chuckle and happy now. And while this is not the end-all be-all, I think it has the broadest appeal for people. Like, it is just a film that you could stick on and most people are going to find something funny. There's a bit of wordplay, a bit of physical humor, a bit of toilet humor, fun performances. Like, everything about it just clicks and works, and it's just a fun fucking movie.
It's the best of what the Farrelly brothers do, in my opinion. I feel like they have a habit, and a lot of times it's still funny, but to fall into a certain gag, a certain thing over and over, and it's this one just, it knows what it's working with too. I think that's part of it. They let Jim Carrey loose.
Yep.
And I mean, and Jeff Daniels too, candidly. Like, it's a and I think that's the best part about what this movie is they have all the different funny things that are happening and hit each type of the comedic aspects that they're looking to do, but at the same time they're like, we know these people are so over the top and can make this work already, let's let them cook.
My favorite bit of trivia from this movie, and we're not going to hit a ton of trivia, but you triggered it in my brain because you mentioned Jeff Daniels and the work he's putting in and how amazing he is in this movie, that the studio so didn't want them to cast Jeff Daniels, they only offered him $50,000 total for the role. Compared to what Jim Carrey is making everybody else. He accepted without hesitation. He didn't negotiate, and his agent said, "This will kill your career." And at the time, it was the most successful movie he'd ever been a part of. So, so it's kind of wild to think that. But also, it's weird to think how good he is, how amazing he is, what an integral part he is, and he did not exactly get paid for this fucking film. Yeah. Which, by the way, Jim Carrey got $7 million to make this movie, and Jeff Daniels got $50,000 to make this movie.
I think it's so important too that he is good enough to carry parts of it too, because you can you can get Jim Carrey fatigue, and you have in a lot of his movies.
Oh yeah.
Where it, like, that kind of physical, he's such a talented physical and over the top comedian, but when that comes over and over again, so to get the change of pace thing, whether it's the when he is meeting she's an FBI agent, right? He doesn't know she's an FBI agent.
Right.
His foot catches on fire at the gas station. Just give me the number or whatever. Like, little things like that are just not Lauren Holly.
I said not Lauren Holly. It was the other girl. I'll cut them. I'll cut my audio out. Don't even worry about it. Never happened. I was going to say to your point too, is he's so needed in this film because this is before Jim Carrey had developed heart in his acting. This was first 3 or 4 films Jim Carrey where it was just pure manic physical comedy energy. He acted in the sense of like, oh, we had to say, but there was no development there yet. It was all bits. Jeff Daniels is the emotional core of this that carries it properly. He's the one that yells and brings the energy and blows up at Lloyd and all that good stuff. So yeah.
He's like the more like lovable teddy bear part of it.
Yeah.
Right? That just because Jim Carrey is just the weirdo, right? Like, that just goes off and does his own thing, and it's tough to find anything remotely redeemable about him. And Jeff Daniels grounds out a little bit more. I mean, as much as grounding can do in this.
By the way, I think I was wrong. I have to dial back to Office Space. I can either cut this out or I can add this disclaimer in. I was wrong. I thought Office Space was 98. It was the year after he was developing it between King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead. It's 99. So King of the Hill had been on for 2 years when he brought this out.
Okay.
This was not the gap year project. This is him taking everything he'd made successfully. Probably they wouldn't have given Beavis and Butthead guy this project. They gave King of the Hill guy this project to go like, oh, you're not going to fuck us here. Anyway, just wanted to note that I realized because I was adding the years for the films, and I thought, wait, I think I fucked this up.
Well, and Fox, it was Fox's studios that released it, right? So
yeah, so same
goodwill
thing.
had been built up like across the interesting.
Anyway, sorry I lied to you all. I didn't help your film review.
We all learn.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll move on to, unless you have anything else you want to say on either of these comedies, we'll move on to Drama. So my pick feels so fucking basic bitch, I feel like.
Me too.
But I have a backup because I thought there's I think I know what yours is, by the way. It was in my short list, but I think I knows what's with me today. I knows what yours is, Randall.
Uh, yeah,
But
I had a conflict on my pick with an internal conflict on my pick, but yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, the reason I say mine's a basic bitch, because I feel like, oh, you mean you're a generic white man in his 40s and you picked Goodfellas? Shock and awe. Yeah, I am. I picked
Um,
Goodfellas. Did you pick Goodfellas?
two.
So, okay. So, time for Randall to go to his backup.
Yep.
We can talk all about Goodfellas first, however.
Sure.
It's to me why this. It's there's nothing either of our dumbasses can say to explain Goodfellas to people that has not already been written and said in much better, longer-winded essays and topics. But for me, it's pure stylistic vibes, a master filmmaker at the height of his powers, powerhouse actors, amazing soundtrack, tense scenes and emotions, and it all just comes together in this long timeline that is weirdly sectional with like just almost like here's a skit about this part of the mafia, skit about this part of mafia, time jumps, and yet it all comes together into what feels like a cohesive narrative when it almost kind of isn't. It is kind of hanging on by a thread sometimes, but it's so good and just such a ride. And it's why I love it.
It's also, I mean, worth noting, it is almost 2.5 hours long and it never feels like it.
Right.
Like it just, I mean, it's part of that's the editing, the specific, quick cuts and a lot of different things they do with it. But wow, I mean, they just keep you moving. There are very, very few, if any, lulls in this movie. There's no, okay, well, let's get to the next part. There's always something tying together or setting up something that's going to pay off or that's going to take place. It's just, you're right. There's a reason we both picked it, though. It's an amazing movie.
So you often hear about filmmakers who get like the concession Oscar, the apology Oscar, the make good Oscar. And listen, for whatever, what was the one that Martin Scorsese finally won for just a couple of years ago? Was it The Departed? I like that movie, but
a good movie.
That Oscar was really for this. That's what because Dances with Wolves got the Oscar against this film. No, it's not. And everyone at the time was like, no, it's not. Even in 1990, most people were like, what the fuck just happened?
You get the same deal here that was carried over from our comedy criteria, right? Like lots and lots of good quotes that people still say today. I mean, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a whatever has been parodied so many times that it's and saying the opening line, one of the opening lines of the film. But the tracking shot all the way back through the Copacabana, I mean, that's a thing that has been used a whole bunch of stuff. I found this is my real quick one trivia note that I thought was fun. They had to do that 8 times and to get it right. And the main reason they had to keep redoing it is because Henny Youngman kept fucking up his lines.
Oh, poor old man. It's gonna be okay.
You're king of the one-liner and you can't get your one-lines right. Jeez.
Well, yeah, king of the one-liner and king of the acting from a recorded, from a written script. Yeah. There's a big difference there.
Right. So I thought that was funny, but it's beautifully shot. It looks awesome. We can just say lots of good things, but it's pretty obvious this is just an outstanding movie. Great choice.
Before you say yours, can I guess at what you wound up picking as your backup choice? Do you mind?
Yeah.
And if I nail it, I feel good, and if I'm wrong, whatever. So my backup choice was Reservoir Dogs, and I rewatched it 2 nights ago. I won't get into it because it lost, so it's getting incinerated.
Okay.
But I really adore that movie. It's for as good as Pulp Fiction is, it's before Tarantino. Tarantino was still really hungry, and he didn't quite have his head up his ass as much, so it's not as like winking. I just really dig it, even with knowing the twist all these years later. Anyway, my guess, based on things we've talked about, quotes we've made, is your pick A Few Good Men?
No, it made my list.
Okay.
It's a movie I really like. Because I'm a big Sorkin fan as well.
Yeah. I don't know, just something. I was convinced you were going to pick A Few Good Men.
No, it is my favorite movie of all time, and so that's why it was
Really?
tough picking Goodfellas against it. My pick is JFK.
Oh
So
my
it,
God, I should have known that. I just
yep,
discounted it. We've talked about that a million times. We've talked about that on the air. I
I
just,
love JFK. So
I don't love it to the amount you do, so I just wasn't thinking about it. Wow.
because I don't, again, and we've talked about this before, so I'm not sure where it showed up. Probably Candy Battle, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was the candy
This or
battle.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, while
I should have known that.
this
I should have known that. Sorry.
this is clearly Oliver Stone's take on what the true story is behind the JFK assassination, but it hits so well and it's so well crafted. This is such a good fit for what he's trying to showcase, and it similarly is really long and never lets you off the hook. It feels really really quick going through the whole thing. I'm the cast is beyond amazing. It's every actor you can pretty much imagine has some sort of bit role or bit part, including Donald Sutherland's 7-minute monologue is just a thing of
It's classic though.
incredible. It's
Yeah.
so
That is a
that's
good
my
movie.
my pick. It's if yeah that's the one where I let my own perspective jump in there, my own subjectivity because I love this movie.
Well, I'm glad it worked out for you because, now you get to save your favorite film of all time. And it gets to come along instead of you
Um,
having to work for the greater good.
and we're right on with Raj because both of these were 4 stars. So
Oh, yeah. There you go. And I have, let me just confirm. So I was going to say, is that my only 4-star, full 4-star? My backup wild card pick, which I know you're not going to pick my main wild card, so it's not going to matter. My backup wild card is my only other 4 out of 4 pick from him that I have. So
weirdly, my popcorn is a 4 star.
no kidding. Mine came damn close, but we'll
Yep.
we'll we'll keep going. Let's go to action, and we'll start with
Okay.
you.
Okay. So I mean, it's gonna give away my pick.
I
How
mean,
do we
that's what we're
feel?
doing. It's your pick. Tell me what your
How do
pick
we?
is.
So because it comes into play later too. Are we assuming that everything from the 1980s is still good?
I mean, we're setting the 80s aside. In my mind, if they're having us destroy the 90s, this is subjective to the 90s only. You don't get to worry about the 80s. There could be a whole different
So,
team worrying about the 80s. Are you
because
picking Die Hard with a Vengeance because Die Hard might be incinerated? Because that was my backup pick, and now I'm real curious.
no, but I am picking Terminator 2.
Ah, yeah.
But does Terminator 2 make sense without Terminator?
I would say yes. Listen, here's the deal. We have
Okay.
to. I don't personally want to get into that kind of semantics on this.
Okay.
We don't need to go that hard into the conceit. It's
We'll
just
understand that there's some sort of collective consciousness understanding what
yes, yeah.
Terminator
Let's
Skynet
just
is. Okay.
if you think Terminator 2, ignore the bit. If you think Terminator 2 is the 100% best action movie of the 90s and needs to survive, that's just the way it is.
There you go. And you put it perfectly. So it's one of the best villains of all time. I honestly, I like the take better of the T-800 in this than I do
Oh yeah.
in the original. I mean, they had to establish it that way, but
It's one of the tough things to write because you can't do it without the first one, but it's also in every way an infinitely better movie. But I also think personally that with just 1 or 2 dialogue tweaks, this movie can play without the Terminator existing. It
sure.
would not take much to just be like, she thinks something happened in the 80s, and it could be vague whether it did or not, and then there we go.
Right.
A
A lot of these sci-fi kind of time travel-ish action movies too I mean, they kind of throw you in
yeah.
without telling you exactly what's going on anyway, and you kind of have to figure
Yep.
it out. So I guess that would work in that way. But yeah, one of Arnold's best films, it's everything about it. Great action run. Great. It's just thrill a minute. Funny
Yeah.
Arnold lines. So
I believe for different reasons we have talked about Terminator 2 several times. I can't pinpoint an episode, but it's come. Oh, we did an Arnold Sly actor battle. Yeah. We talked to death about it then. Look those up. I really like our actor battles. There's some really good takes in those. we need to do one of those again sometime soon. The problem is they're just a lot for us. So we haven't done them in a minute because it just takes we want to do a lot of research on those and have the trivia and the knowledge and the bits. And we just haven't had the time, but we'll do one again soon. If anyone who's listening to this has a suggestion for some kind of actor battle with a decade, let us know because we take the suggestion. So I had two Arnold movies at first as I was going between Terminator 2 and True Lies.
Yeah.
And then I wound up not picking either one of them and went with just a dark horse candidate. My backup wound up being Die Hard with a Vengeance because I kept coming to that one. And then, listen, this could be a little recency bias as to why I'm picking the movie I'm about to pick. I'm going to do a slight tangent. If we get to what we watch sometime soon, I might talk about this. I did a little bit of a rewatch of the James Bond movies recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, God, these are overall pretty good, some quite bad. And then I was looking at what's a pure action movie, and I looked at Con Air and Face Off, and I almost thought about, does Jurassic Park count? And The Matrix is maybe there. And then I hit on a movie that I adore, that I would watch anytime I see it, that I've put on for my own amusement, that I think is a amazingly pure action film, The Rock. I want to bring The Rock. I know that was a long buildup, but I feel like I had to preface it with why. If I just said I wanted to bring 1996 The Rock cold, I got to be like, no, think about it. Like, this movie is a rollicking good time. It's a pure action film. And the James Bond thing.
In order, I need to double check. So,
what's up?
This may set some things in rolling. So, but keep going.
Oh, okay. And the reason I thought about it with the Bond thing is, have you ever heard the fan theory that this is Sean Connery's Bond?
Right.
And I buy into that. When you watch the movie, I've watched YouTube videos that dissect it like line by line, scene by scene. And they even find like timelines about how it can slot in between the different Bond movies, like when he had been captured, why he'd been disavowed. And then, so that's just fun. But then it's also just such a good time. Ed Harris, Nick Cage, Sean Connery, all having such a good time. We didn't have a lot of, I think this is the last good Sean Connery movie, because by 2003, he'd retired after making a couple of really bad films because he got off.
Not a big fan of
he got offered The Matrix and he got offered Lord of the Rings, and he turned them both down because he didn't understand them. And when he finally took a project he didn't understand and it bombed, he's just like, you know what, I'm retiring. I think this was the last gasp of Sean Connery being a movie star. And it was the height of Nicolas Cage mania in the 90s between Face Off and Con Air and The Rock, where when did he win? When did he win the
Vegas?
I was gonna say, was it 95? Because he did what so many people do, is he won the Oscar and went, well, I won the Oscar. I'm only going to make fun shit now. And the next, 4 years before, eventually he made adaptation, before all his money woes, when he wound up just making anything. You had a good 10-year period post-leaving Las Vegas where he made some really good movies and he still kind of chose his projects.
Mm-hmm.
But before he wound up to adaptation and making some real dramas again, he did 5 years of just action movies, and they were great. They were great. And for as good as Con Air and Face Off are, I think this is the best. Because it's still, he's putting on a terrible accent in Con Air and doing a weird character. Yeah. Face Off, he is in full overacting Nick Cage.
Yeah.
In this one, he is bridging the gap between the Nick Cage we've seen in movies and the weird action hero he's about to become. And it all comes together into a perfect stew. Michael Biehn's in this one. Michael Biehn from Terminator is in this. He's a good soldier. Anyway, I love this movie.
It's no, I'm on with you 100%. This is a rollicking good time. It goes all the way. It's a perfect entry for the action genre because there's so much fun stuff going on and a million different set pieces, and San Francisco is an amazing backdrop for this. It works really well. All the chases, the Hummer chase through all up and down all the big hills, and then between putting Alcatraz within the whole mix of it. It's really good. And like you said, Ed Harris really helps it because Nick Cage is playing a little over the top. Sean Connery is obviously just having fun. And Ed Harris does a nice job of giving a little bit more of an even performance, right? To bring
Yep.
this back to the fact it's not. This isn't. It
He's a
doesn't go
great
completely off
bad
the
guy.
rails because of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have one plot point that I watched this movie for decades where somebody brought this up to me. I was like, oh my God. So Alcatraz closed in March 1963. Okay. He escaped in 62, was put back in 63, escaped again, and then eventually blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the film, in what had been hidden in the church in Kansas, that the thing that he had hidden that right before he got put in Alcatraz, right? Yes. It was the Kennedy assassination from November 1963. And I'm like, they don't mention, they say, honey, you want to know who really killed JFK, which I guess could maybe be anything. But it's very clearly supposed to be the microfilm of the assassination. But it was happening about 7 months before it actually would have happened based on their timeline. But
I
who
guess they
cares? It's a
suspend
great
disbelief
movie.
and say, hey, maybe it's plans or something for it. Maybe
Right.
that was, blueprints or something like that. I don't know.
So, and the thing is, I'd always
Good point.
considered this like a perfect film. And then one day, after like 25 years, someone went, what about the JFK timeline? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, son of a bitch. But I move on.
You could have thrown it away and been like, you know what the aliens really were in Area 51? Like it could have.
Son of a
It would have been perfect.
bitch.
Oh well. Onward.
I'm gonna go next, but do you want me to do popcorn horror? What is with me today? I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4 again, and it takes place. It's the Massachusetts Fallout where it's the Commonwealth post-apocalypse. So I think I'm hitting a little. I played the Fahaba DLC, and I was in Diamond City there, kid, with the baseball stadium. They turned Fenway into one of the best cities in Fallout. The games is like it's post-apocalypse, and they rework things. Fenway has become the biggest city in the Commonwealth, and everyone has repurposed the interior of Fenway Park and turned it into a city, and it's been able to survive because they're protected behind the wall. They just keep calling it the wall, and you don't know what it is, and they're like, we're going to be protected by the wall. And it's the monster. There's actually a little side mission where you have to go find green paint to patch up the wall. It's adorable. Anyway, that said, I think that's why I keep talking like that.
Let's go popcorn next.
Okay.
So because I will say, because I'm intrigued, because The Rock was my backup pick for popcorn. So I'm curious to see what you picked for popcorn, because I may have to zig if you pick mine. I don't think you will, but
no, I get why The Rock could be considered popcorn, because it's weirder and goofier and actiony and mindless. But I guess in my mind, did it not tip the scales into action enough? Should I have not picked it for action?
No, I think it works. I think some of these overlap. And
okay.
I think mine is the same.
I think popcorn's the one where they could really overlap. Popcorn and comedy and action can all kind of play together. But I admit that in all of my picks for popcorn, primary, backup, and shortlist, they all play with the same thing. It is some mix of comedy, action, sci-fi. They all hit that same base. My top pick for popcorn is a comedy, action, sci-fi B movie, which is Tremors from 1990. Which, by the way, Roger Ebert gave 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Yeah.
Because Tremors is fucking amazing. It is small cast, very small cast with amazing actors and every person filling their role to just a T. The best performances you'll ever get out of Michael Gross and Reba McEntire to save your fucking life. Top tier Kevin Bacon, top tier Fred Ward. Kevin Bacon did not care about this movie when he was making it, and he is to this day grateful yet shocked at what it has meant for his career, because he basically took this movie because he's like, I had 2 bombs, I needed money. Now fucking everyone's talking to me about Tremors. I don't get it. So, but just it started a franchise of, after number 2 very bad movies with Michael Gross and them, but God bless that man getting work. But this movie is popcorn because it is just engrossing yet mindless. I can't take my eyes away from this insanity. It is funny. It is action-packed. There's a little bit of a mystery. There's science fiction. There's great scenery. There's set pieces. There's creativity. This movie has it all, and yet you have to turn your brain off for the entire thing. It's wonderful. So, but 3.5 out of 4 stars. What do you got for yours?
So I think I took my definition of popcorn a little bit more as it can, if it's a blockbuster, that's okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it also had a lot of suspension of disbelief. So I don't think it's to the extent that yours is popcorn in terms of complete brain turn off.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
I think when you have sci-fi in the mix, that always comes into play, right? Because you got to say, okay,
There's a lot more hand waving. My backup pick, by the way, just to get it out there regarding hand waving, and also only 2 out of 4 stars. My backup pick was Time Cop. So anyway,
got you. So I'm picking a movie that's a little bit more critically acclaimed. I guess although Tremors 3.5, so it got its too. I'm gonna pick Speed.
oh no, that's a popcorn movie for sure.
Yeah.
It is definitely more of a traditional action movie, but it's a popcorn movie, 100%.
Yeah. Because as I was going through a lot of different, like I had my short list was, I think it was Speed, Bad Boys, The Rock, and Enemy of the State. Those are my like.
Oh, so you went more action. I went more sci-fi.
Right.
That might just speak to who we are, though. Also.
Yeah, that's true. So, but Speed really, I mean, this was the thing that Keanu really brought this forward. I think the best part about it is that it is a ridiculous premise. I mean, the former cop that is become psychotic and now obsessed with bombing, and this whole premise is. But
Dennis Hopper great in that role, though. Dennis Hopper
amazing.
Phenomenal.
Oh, I mean, it just everyone is cast really well. Like Sandra Bullock really works well as this. Her chemistry.
This is her breakout role.
Good.
This is what brought her to the dance, really.
And it's fun. And actually, is Jeff Daniels, right?
Jeff Daniels is the partner who takes the shot.
Yep.
He gets blown up.
Alert.
Also, just great cast on the bus. I'm so happy that Ferris Bueller's from Cameron and the guy from Spin City and the captain from Star Trek 7. What was his name? Alan Ruck. Yeah, we did a whole thing on Alan Ruck and Spin City. I like Alan Ruck. He's amenable. He's good to see on screen.
You're moving towards a final piece, but at the same time you have this other variable that gets in the way of it. So you're always not sure exactly how they're going to get out of something, how they're going to find their way through things.
Sorry, I just realized also another one from your other pick, Joe Morton from Terminator 2 and in this one. Sorry, it just dawned on me. Please continue.
Just a really good. Yeah, so the casting works really well, and the fact that like a large portion of this movie just takes place inside a bus speaks to the level of the storyline and how they keep this moving. I mean, with a name like Speed, you would expect that they're going 50 miles an hour, but we're over that. I think it's just another really fun time, and I would say the suspension of disbelief of this premise is what makes it popcorny to me, right? Because you have to pay attention some, but you really just have to know that they're trying to find ways to get people off this bus while still going a certain amount of speed, because if they don't, it'll blow up. And get the bad guy in the end. I mean, that's really all you need.
You did say that this was your other 4 out of 4, right? From old Raj?
Yes. So, actually, no, I have one more. Sorry.
Oh, so
I looked at it.
Wowee. But no, I was looking it up too because I was curious. So often in these types of situations, Roger Ebert might be into it and Siskel won't, but Siskel loved it. This was a 2 thumbs up. Siskel praised it as absolutely compelling. All of the sequences work, and I will not disagree with that man on this.
I'm a little surprised. I wouldn't think this falls into their wheelhouse, but I mean,
I think when something's truly
a good movie's a good movie. Yeah,
there it is. And if something can transcend, that's what matters. I just want to let you know my short list because, like I said, I did a little more sci-fi, comedy, whatever. I had Men in Black and Independence Day, and frankly, Gremlins 2. So I love Gremlins 2, and there is every part of me that thought, how can I save this film for future generations?
I have had I'm not a big fan of spiders, so that one scene does freak me out a little bit. But I
Okay,
know it's
fair enough.
gremlins, but
In that regard, let's move on to horror. Give me your horror
all
pick,
right.
man.
Uh,
We talked a little bit about this yesterday. And we talked on the show before. You're not a horror guy. So when you even looked at your short list was like 2 movies, you said, right? Anyway.
I took a little bit of liberty with calling something horror that could have been more, I guess, suspense thriller. But the more I thought about it, still psychological horror, I think still counts.
Can I hit that point real quick before I
Yes.
continue your? We talked a little bit about this, and my issue was what is horror as people consider it, and what would horror be when we're branding it? Because thriller can't just be its own category. I don't feel like so often that is
Right.
horror, but there can be a distinct difference between horror and thriller. But like my top example was, and this is really deep on my short list. I didn't pick it, but it was damn close. I love Misery with Kathy Bates and James Caan. That is a Stephen King novel, but not one of his spooky ones. That's just a crazy lady. So is it a thriller or is it properly horror? It is famously often considered like a horror movie.
Yeah.
But then there's Silence of the Lambs, which I do think trends more into horror, but is considered thriller, but is also often considered the first horror movie to win Best Picture. So, like, where do you call it? Because the other movies that came out, like Wes Craven's New Nightmare and the Halloween H2O and Scream, those are real horror movies as you think of them. Where do you draw the line? I decided, I think you agreed. I could have just said, oh, I decided, I'm a dick. It's all horror. We're all just calling it horror.
I
But
think
with that, sorry to ramble. Tell me your pick.
Yeah, no, and I think the thriller suspense part is in its own category. So much like, action can kind of permeate a lot of different things, or drama can permeate a ton
Yeah.
of things, right? Like
Yeah.
then in this sense, horror envelopes those type of things. So, uh, this isn't revolutionary. We've talked about this a ton. You've talked about this a ton. I'm probably taking your pick, or maybe not, but I'm taking Scream.
I knew you would.
It-
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't not. I honestly like it. Just there, it's the best. I'll say that it's the
Yeah.
best horror movie of the '90s. So
Oh, 100%.
yeah.
And you and I talked offline when we were looking at if we set aside the thrillers too. Say out of my short list, I get rid of Misery, I get rid of Silence of the Lambs, and I'm even going to get rid of From Dusk Till Dawn because that's really almost an action comedy less than a horror movie, which was on my short list. It really only becomes a
horror movie.
Right, it becomes a horror movie at the end, barely. I would say you have Deep Rising, New Nightmare, Halloween H2O, The Blair Witch Project, and on one more that's my pick, but I'm going to wait till we talk just a hint more about Scream for actual horrors. And that's for the entire decade that I looked.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like a horror movie aficionado. And if I'm looking for 10 years of films, what's worth keeping? That's a pretty short list as someone who likes horror.
Sure.
So, but listen, we have talked to death, as said. We've done a million Halloween episodes. It's your pick, so I'll let you hammer. If you want to hear my thoughts on Scream, I think only go back a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about Scream at length we did like a genre pick thing, didn't we? I already forget what we did. We did something.
I believe.
Yeah, we did franchise. I picked Scream. I went at length about Scream and why it's a perfect and this and that. Randy, give me a couple lines though about why it's your choice.
Well, you brought it up that I am not the biggest horror movie fan, and it takes maybe a little bit more, a little bit something off from a horror movie for me to really enjoy it. It has to be a perfectly well-crafted movie, or if it has, I am much more into, I mean, this case is there's not psychological specifically, but there is twists to it, right? You're trying to solve something. It's not just bad guys show up, kill. You're trying to that does happen, but you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on with this. Like, wait, where is this coming from? And then there's some like comedic undertones to a lot of it because it's poking fun at the genre while it's just basically taking place in front of them. People are a lot more self-aware. There's just not a lot like this, and so this sets it aside on top of being a great slasher movie to boot, and that's what draws me to it, and that's why I love it.
The great thing about it coming at the midpoint of the decade too is the first half of the 90s was the leftover remnants of the shit from the 80s. You in 1995 had the worst Halloween movie in Halloween 6. Atrocious. A year later you get Scream, but the problem is then Scream was so good, it started off the wave of people knocking this movie off. and never doing it quite as well. That said, there were still a lot of really good movies. How do I say it? Good may not be the right term. There are a lot of really fun movies in horror that came out post Scream. I don't know if it's as good. My choice, listen, if you're going to be real, you pick the best one, right? So logically, my choice should be Misery or Wes Craven's New Nightmare or The Silence of the Lambs. I don't like Blair Witch Project, but for future generations, maybe I should pick the Blair Witch Project. I didn't do any of that. If you got to do what you wanted to do for one or two of these, you're like, maybe I'm stretching the definition, or maybe this is just for me. I get to do that here.
Yep.
So my pick, I'm going to preface my pick with a text you sent me yesterday that I didn't tell you this was my backup. When you said, you know, The Faculty is hilariously bad for as many big teen actors that are in it. To which I no-sold and just started talking about something else because
Catan all over again.
Because my choice is The Faculty from 1998 for my pick that gets to survive all time. Which, by the way, is such an out there pick. Roger Ebert never reviewed this film. Siskel and Ebert don't have a thumb rating for this film. I looked everywhere. I looked up and down. I could not find it. I love this movie. I've watched this movie a million times. I watched this movie last month, December 2025. I watched this movie of my own free will, of my own volition, because I love a pod person movie. I love fun dialogue, good action, a nice cast. It takes all the conceits. I love Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978. That is the best pod person movie ever made. This is a close second. And for picking a movie from the 90s, this is the way to fucking go. I love The Faculty. It's fun, action-packed. There's a mystery. There's tension. There's genuine scares. It's great. Feel free to yell at me.
No, so when I say hilariously bad, that doesn't necessarily mean I wouldn't want to watch it. I just think it's very over the top. Now it's
extremely, yes.
So, but there are a lot of, I mean, that's the same thing. We watched that often, I think, when it came out. I mean, just the opening like 5 minutes where just poor Elijah Wood, like he gets knocked off of something, he gets run into a flagpole crotch first, he gets like, it's just, there's a lot going on. It's
I believe
Jon Stewart gets a pencil stabbed in the eye, you know,
also, by the way, Elijah Wood, I want to make sure I wasn't lying. Yes, this happened. He auditioned for Lord of the Rings while filming this movie. So he had never read the books, and he sent a self-taped audition to Peter Jackson while filming The Faculty.
Amazing.
So, you know, you're not going to get to say, I wouldn't save Lord of the Rings in the 2000s. I don't really care for those movies. But you need The Faculty if you do like them. I just want you to know that. Maybe he would have heard about them otherwise. But I actually really wanted to come down, and we're talking about how amazing this is. I want to read the cast off to you, because this cast is just, even for 1990, is it 98 or 99? 1998. This cast is so fucking stacked. First off the top, I had mentioned From Dusk Till Dawn a couple of minutes ago. This is a Robert Rodriguez movie. I forgot about that. This is not what you would ever think. This is the most non-Robert Rodriguez movie, except for all the horror and gore. And, like, it fits when you think about it. That being said, Jordana Brewster, Josh Hartnett, Salma Hayek, Famke Johnson, Christopher McDonald, that's Shooter McGavin, for anyone who may not know the name, Bebe Neuwirth, Robert Patrick. Look at that fucking Robert Patrick getting 2 films on this list. Proud of him. Usher, Jon Stewart, Elijah Wood. And then there's a handful of other people you might kind of recognize, like, the one
who's this?
kind of
sarcastic girl? Is that Clea Duvall or?
Yeah, why do I know her?
Her name?
What? Yeah, what else was she in? I saw the name and I couldn't remember. I didn't list her because I couldn't remember.
In Can't Hardly Wait, I think.
Yes, yep. Oh, she's in Identity.
Yeah.
She's in.
She had a little run there.
Yeah, she did. Oh,
Very
she did.
specific look. So
She apparently she
oh,
did 26 episodes of Veep, which I haven't watched apparently. So good
oh,
for her.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
forgot
your
about that. Oh man. Oh, that show.
But that being said, this movie is how to. This is what I want my horror to be.
Hmm.
Scream does it the best, but this has characters that I'm just emotionally invested in enough to be sad when they're dead. Characters that I want to see dead. Characters I'm rooting for. Uh, a high enough body count for a horror movie to be engaging, but not be like exploitative. It's just it nails all the boxes for me. Scream did it best, but this is just fun.
It's got a good little twist too. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, if you probably see it coming, but you don't. I don't. The first time I saw it, I don't know if I did. I wasn't 100%
I
sure
did.
that's what it was.
I didn't see it being, maybe had I watched another 20 years of movies. This is The Thing, by the way. They blatantly remake scenes from The Thing in this movie. The tests, the way they find out somebody's a monster, this is literally just ripped off from The Thing, which also might be why I like some of it so much. It's a kitschy teen version of The Thing, and it's fun. Anyway,
I did look out of curiosity. Rotten Tomatoes, across 64 reviews across a whole bunch of different media, 58%. So it's no, I mean that's better than I thought it was going
oh, okay, great.
to be. So
Okay, fair. Moving
just
on,
because we couldn't find Roger Ebert, so
yeah, fair enough. Moving on, I believe we have what family and wild card and worst. You want to just?
yep.
I feel
I
like
have
family
one.
should be where we go, right?
I have one addendum from horror,
Oh my.
where on my short list,
Yeah.
like, would given the kind of expanded parameters we have, would 7 fit in there?
Yes. Yes, it would.
Okay. Because it was on my
Uh,
short list, and I wasn't
okay.
sure if it still fit in there, but it's such a psychological horror
I
mind
mean, to
fuck.
me,
So,
to me, it's a thriller drama. That I don't consider it a horror movie, but by the laws of what we're saying,
yeah,
it would fit under drama or horror if you
yep.
really wanted it in either way.
I'd still pick Scream above it, but I think it was
Same,
worth mentioning to get in
same.
there.
And not just as a horror. I personally like Scream more as an overall movie. I find it,
Hmm.
I just enjoy it. But Seven is a great film. Family?
Yeah. Did you go first? I went first
No.
last time, so you're
Oh yeah, you did. So I was thinking it'd be me, but listen, if you're gonna pick Toy Story 2, right? So that's or the first one. I don't know. Either way. That being said, I'm picking The Lion King. 3.5 out of 4 for Roger Ebert. There are basic
That's what I
picks
was
here,
gonna
right?
pick if you picked Toy Story. So I think, yeah.
The only other thought is I thought if you picked Lion King, but I knew you'd pick one of the Toy Stories, I would have picked Muppet Christmas Carol. Because it's just I know it's Christmas, but it's a perfect family film in every other way. Shortlist, Aladdin, every
Yep.
early Pixar film. I kind of thought about the Doctor Dolittle remake, weirdly, which I really thought was a
Hmm.
really fun, like lost gem of a Eddie Murphy Renaissance family film era before it fell off for him again for a few years. I always enjoyed it.
Sure.
But I'll let you talk a little more about Toy Story, even though we've talked about it to death. I feel like I don't think we've talked about The Lion King a lot, but do we need to? We're picking the movie. What the fuck do you want me to say about The Lion King that hasn't already been said? I don't know. It's
I
great.
mean, essentially Hamlet, right? But like at
Yeah.
the same time,
Also, that one, that
feels different, right? So
what's that movie that it also blatantly ripped off? Hang on. You know what I'm talking about, right?
no.
Oh my God. No, it's so Kimba and the White Lion is a Japanese movie from the 60s that is basically The Lion King.
Oh, okay.
That there's a whole lot of similarities in design, plot points, animation styles. They kind of ripped it off pretty hard.
Yeah.
By the way, I would like to know it's Kimba the lion, not Simba in that anime. So
And his dad
you
Mufasa.
listen. I didn't see it. I saw The Lion King. It's
Yep.
perfect. Which I guess
Really
the real
remarkable.
question
I
is,
mean, just
oh yeah, yeah.
the setting that it has, it just looks incredible.
Which Toy Story did you pick? Is my question.
So, I was in my own head about it, where I thought back to it. And it's the same reason that I didn't. I mean, I guess since I got the first pick on horror, that's why I picked Scream. But it's the reason also I wavered on New Nightmare because it's not necessarily a sequel, but I picked the original Toy Story, even though I think I like Toy Story 2 better.
No argument.
No, yeah. Unlike Terminator 2, I think things need to be set up to see everything in Toy Story 2 to make sense.
I agree. Toy Story 2 doesn't live on its own, but I also am a little bit of a hater. We've talked about this. I don't like Toy Story 2 as much as you do, and I think it's the weakest of the first three, maybe the first four. I really don't like Toy Story 2 that much. So I go back and forth.
Someone trying to trigger, so it's
a little bit. That was a little bit of a poke, but also a poke coming from a real place.
Yeah, fair enough. So, I've said a million things about Toy Story. Visually, great story, great vocal casting, tons and tons of little Easter eggs that are in the background or little throwaway things that remind you of your own childhood toys or what's going on. It just everything fits really well, or the fact that if you tried to play and then something fell apart, you remember it. It was just, it felt very well researched into toys on top of being a really good story.
Yep. And then obviously, just to say we said it, groundbreaking animation, everybody got their mind is blown, things that we've said, things that they've said. As I've joked about with this podcast, after 2 years, we're going to hit a few points that we've hit before, and I never know how much to dance around. Yes, Toy Story's good. We have addressed this. So, yeah.
But I think a couple of my picks too throughout are sort of time capsules too, right? Of the time. Terminator 2, just this visual effects of the time, and they still look great, but like blow you away. Same kind of deal here with Toy Story, like visual effects of the time, understanding when it's going around. But
100%, man.
Cool.
Give me 1 second. I want to add a few. I'm going to add the years. I've been trying to keep the years on these to read back later.
Yep.
What year was Speed? 95?
94.
94. Thank you. So moving on to our wild cards, I had mentioned that my backup wild card pick was a 4 out of 4 from Roger Ebert, and that's Pleasantville. I fucking love Pleasantville.
Okay.
But when I really thought if I could bring a 90s movie that I would want everyone to see, that I think genuinely could represent something that is fun, that is action-packed, don't worry, it's not a Star Trek movie. But it is a Star Trek movie in the sense that it's Galaxy Quest, because I think Galaxy Quest is just fucking stellar. And there's a how do I say this? In Star Trek fan rankings, this movie often comes up ahead of like 7 or 8 actual Star Trek movies as like the best Star Trek movie ever made. And it's because it's made with love, it's fun, it's action-packed, there's a great cast. And the references don't hurt the movie, but do inform it for fans, right? Like, they don't ever stop the movie cold to go, this is a reference to something from Star Trek. They just keep making the movie, but meanwhile, fans are like, that said, absolutely a good time. So much fun. I have one little bit of trivia on it. I would like to note there is a quote that I closed because I'm a bastard. I always close these windows when I go to look for them. Did I slightly want to include this because of this one Alan Rickman story? I don't know, but it's a great story. But all joking aside, I love this movie. It is heartwarming. I'll get to it. I want to hit more of the real movie here. Yeah, you've seen it, I assume?
I like it.
Okay.
This is actually a movie that
I wasn't sure, based on the jokes we make about Star Trek, if you would have avoided a parody or pastiche of it in that regard. So
no, I've seen it, enjoy it.
But the quote I want to read, there's a lot of jokes over the years about what a bad actor Tim Allen is, about the choices he makes in life. According to director Dean Persois, Tim Allen became very emotional after filming the scene where Jason reveals the truth to Mathazar, saying, "Yeah, I don't like these feelings I'm having. I'd like to go back to the trailer." After he left, Alan Rickman quipped, "Oh my God, I think he just experienced acting." Coincidentally, Coincidentally, that was the day Steven Spielberg visited the set, and he complimented Alan's acting.
Mm.
Side thing, just because it's here and it's funny. Tim Allen was starstruck when he met Sigourney Weaver. He's a huge fan of Alien. He got her to sign some of his memorabilia between takes, but she signed it "Stolen by Tim Allen. Loves Sigourney Weaver," and apparently he got very upset at this. So,
Well,
that's funny. Listen, Tim Allen. If anyone could be fake William Shatner, it was going to be Tim Allen.
yeah.
And he fucking nails it. But it's a great ensemble comedy. It's a great sci-fi movie. It's a great action movie. It would fit in popcorn. And then as a fan, being wild card, it scratches my 90s Star Trek itch. So if I get to save one movie to bring in a wild card that's really just for me, it's going to be Galaxy Quest.
And for those who are less than enamored with Star Trek, this is a good bridge.
Yes, it is.
So-
It really is. It's you don't need to like Star Trek to like this
Correct.
movie, but if you like Star Trek, you're gonna fucking love this movie. Is
There you
basically
go.
what it comes down to. And again, 3 out of 4 stars from Roger Ebert. What is your wild card, my friend?
When I went through my couple wild cards, it's they're not in the truest definition of wild card. It was just movies that, as I looked through all the different '90s movies and my favorite movies from the '90s, what can I not have? Like
Okay.
what can I not live without? And not bring along and have everyone else continue to enjoy. And so I'm bringing Jurassic Park with us.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad you did. Because
It's
that
such
was
a great movie.
we've talked about Jurassic Park to death, but it also is the one movie that we've been dancing around not having. And I was going
Yeah.
to address it after this. If neither one of us in any way had picked Jurassic Park, I was going to basically go, what happened here that
Right.
neither one of us did this? And I'm glad it found a spot. I really am. It's Jurassic Park.
There's not much else to say.
Yeah.
Again, and this becomes a continuing of there's a running theme on a lot of mine that achievement or something visually amazing or
Yeah.
something that resonates. And I mean, what else can you say about all the stuff with ILM and
Oh my gosh, yeah.
the dinosaurs and just it's
Yep.
continually thrilling, terrifying. It's encapsulates everything that is. It takes on Crichton's book. You get the dread, you
Mhm.
get the greed of someone trying to. It all works.
100%.
Not
So-
a new take, but
Before we get to the movie, we're going to fucking incinerate ourselves.
Yep.
Let's review the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14. The
Mhm.
14 movies that have been spared the destruction of all film from
Before
the
you do that,
90s.
what was your short list for Wildcard? Out of curiosity.
I didn't have a short list.
Okay.
My short list backup was Pleasantville because
Oh.
I love that movie. I watched Pleasantville weirdly so many times. I think it's so creative, so well acted, so beautiful that there is a sad part of me to say, oh, I can't ever watch that again. It's not one I put on all the time, but it is one I put on and I am absorbed by. I really love that film.
Yeah.
What can I say? It's an odd choice, I know.
No, it's a good movie. Yeah. The only thing I left off, and it's similar to Jurassic Park, that it's tough that we're getting rid of Pulp Fiction, but
yeah,
such is life.
I like Pulp Fiction a lot. I really do. But there's something that this is going to sound so stupid, and Tarantino would find me and shoot me for this, I'm sure. But there's something that whenever it was presented as an option just kept holding me back from other things. Because I don't know,
It's
it
a great
could
movie.
cross the
It's not
bridge.
better than the ones we picked, in my opinion.
There it is.
So
There it
that's
is.
how I'd say it. So
And to review, 14 surviving films from the 1990s are Office Space, Dumb and Dumber, JFK, Goodfellas, Terminator 2, The Rock, Speed, Tremors, Scream, The Faculty, Toy Story, The Lion King, Galaxy Quest, and Jurassic Park. We're going to be okay with those for a while without people getting too bored, I think.
got a good variety to it.
And if I'm looking here, we did not pick films from 1992 or 1997. Those years both got left off entirely. So what happened in 1992 and 1997?
I will say Wayne's World was from '92, so if that was on the short list, it was there. So, but
It was in contention, but it didn't make it. That's a shame.
that's what like is that
So,
Titanic from '97 is
Titanic was 97? Yeah. I was never going to pick Titanic. That movie's overrated.
Oh, I know. I'm just thinking of like what is stuff that was even close that would have been off there. Boogie Nights, I guess, right? Is that
Boogie Nights was closer to me for drama than a lot of others. I really like Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights is great. So looking at worst, I actually am in a bit of a quagmire here because I have two films that are just have brought me nothing but misery in different ways. That I have been slightly obsessed with in different ways, that I hate in different ways, that I can't choose. So I want to see what you chose before I reveal, and maybe it helps me to pick mine. What film did you have to just incinerate and you never want anyone to be able to ever see again from the 90s?
so? I don't want to say it's a little hacky, but it's just a stupid, horrible, bad comedy, and there's nothing much redeeming about it. I'm gonna pick Jury Duty, the Pauly Shore movie.
Ooh, that's a good choice. Fuck that movie. I do think it's, I'll be blunt. I think it's better than In the Army Now if I had to stack them up against each other.
That's a bad one too. Yeah, I had forgotten about that. I was thinking of like Son-in-Law I actually kind of enjoyed, but
Yeah, Son-in-Law's not awful, but it has a great supporting cast.
that's true. Yeah. But yeah, and was he in Biodome? That wasn't him.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Okay. Yeah.
He made a lot of bad movies off. So Encino Man, he was a co-star in, and it was good. Son-in-Law was a proper hit and was well regarded enough. And he coasted for about 8 years of bad Pauly Shore. We didn't say his name. Bad Pauly Shore movies for about 8 years off the back of Son-in-Law. And this is right at this is that middle point where he was still making movies and they were still fucking trash. The real question is, when did they stop making enough money to stop making movies with him? Because they don't care about the quality. If they're bringing in just enough profit, who gives a shit, right? So give me a second. Now I got to look that up because I'm desperately curious. Jury Duty had a $21 million budget and a $17 million box office, so it did not make money.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm really curious, when is the last time, like when was there a profitable Pauly Shore movie? So Son-in-Law was 93, In the Army Now was 94, Biodome was 96. We are going to discount a Goofy movie because that is not sold on the back of Pauly Shore. I will give him credit for a fine performance as that one annoying guy with the cheese whiz. But we are not going to do that. And Jury Duty's 95. So he had a direct rip, right?
Yeah.
So 93 Son-in-Law does $8 million budget, $36 million box office. He cleaned up. In the Army Now, the next year, $28 million box office. I can't find the budget, which is not a good sign. Oh, no, here we go. I found it. $10 million budget, $28 million gross. So still doing okay.
Yep.
Then you have Jury Duty, which lost $7 million. Then we go to Biodome in 96. Fuck, that movie made money. Biodome made money. Biodome had an $8 million budget and made $14 million.
There wasn't a lot of alternative things to do in the 90s. I don't know. So
but also good on you for choosing in that rip the one that was a box office bomb, I would like to know.
Yeah.
So you could really pick the losers out of the losers. So really proud of you. Good God, I'm stunned by that. I'm in a rabbit hole here. I want to give you my pick, but I really need to find when Pauly Shore stopped making money. This has to happen immediately.
I mean, the built-in part of it, right? Like his mom is she owns the comedy store, or she's comedy store or something like that. So,
but when did his movies stop being Pauly Shore? Oh, interesting.
Did he have another?
Biodome was the last one.
Right.
That was a Pauly Shore movie. He had his run, which is stunning because that movie made money. He then went and did a failed TV series. He went and tried to do. he tried to branch out and it didn't do well. And then he stopped. Fascinating. Honest to God, he kind of had a little run there. They're all terrible. They're all deeply terrible. But he had a little bit of a run there. I'm proud of him. Good
Fooled
work.
some people.
Yeah. So, let me get into mine, unless you want to hit anything else on Jury Duty, and I don't feel like...
No, it's a terrible movie, and it deserves to
Yeah.
be burned up.
Yes. Okay, so we have talked at length about Nothing But Trouble. And I thought, is this going to be the one? And I've always said when we hit little tidbits on it, let's wait to really get into it, right?
Okay.
Let's save it for another show, a Dan Aykroyd deep dive, something. I don't know. And I thought this might be the moment. But then I remembered something that you had mentioned. Boy, there's a whole lot of really bad 90s horror movies. And I'm like, yeah. And I thought, what do you qualify? Because it does a shitty direct-to-video movie doesn't just mean it has to be my one that's incinerated.
Right.
But then I thought a movie that genuinely just upsets me. Like a movie that just... A movie so bad, it had a documentary made about it. And I don't even... There are so many people that find this movie in the so bad it's good, so bad it's funny category. But this movie infuriated me of... I didn't get the appeal that it was so bad it was funny. And I'm building to this.
Mm-hmm.
My friend David, years ago, bought multiple copies of this DVD and hid it around my house so that when I would come home, I would find copies of it because I detested this film. And for that reason, I need every copy of this movie to be fucking incinerated. And that's 1990's Troll 2. Fuck this movie. Are you aware of the lore of Troll 2? Or are you aware of the documentary about Troll 2? So this movie about a troll, ostensibly, has no trolls in it.
Yeah,
It's about goblins. It's about goblins in the town of Nilborg, which is goblin spelled backwards.
Right.
And do I need to get any more? God, it's just fucking terrible. The worst effects, the worst acting, the worst beats, and the reason this movie can rise above your horror schlock is it's a sequel to an ostensibly, at least somewhat well-received 80s horror movie, enough to get a sequel that had name value to people maybe wanting to see it, to going, what the fuck is this? Where are the trolls? Also, this is terrible. There's genuinely, what is the name of the Troll 2 documentary? I've seen it. Best worst movie from 2009. Right. It is, the documentary is better than the movie. I don't find this to be so bad it's good. It genuinely upsets me that so many people want to watch this and laugh at it. Unlike The Room, which I do want to watch and laugh at. There's something so earnest about how bad The Room is and how crazy Tommy Wiseau is. There is something really evilly bad about this movie. It really upsets me, and I hate this movie, and I want to burn them all. Thoughts?
This seemed prime if they ever continued. I mean, they've used so many different older movies, but this seemed like a prime Mystery Science Theater for the next generation or whatever. Like if they went into 80s, 90s, and 2000s movies, it'd be perfect for it. I only know of it from that documentary, and also How Did This Get Made did a pretty extensive dive into it, which is really really fun. I mean, it's those guys. The point of that is it's like all the movies that are really bad, but that is, I listened to that podcast a decent amount, and that's one of the most incredulous I think I've ever heard. And there's just the amount of times they say what is happening during the whatever 2-hour podcast is it's staggering, because there is no narrative thread. It's just it feels like it was made up on the fly, and somebody didn't understand that Troll was the name of the movie, and
they had the rights to it. They had the rights to it, and they thought they could make a buck off of it. But I want that movie incinerated, which also means we will have to still talk about Nothing But Trouble deeply another time. One day it will happen. One day we will go scene by scene through that fucking movie and dissect it.
Just because you incinerated Troll 2, we didn't pick Nothing But Trouble's gone too. So.
Oh, it is gone. I just didn't have the joy of incinerating it myself. So that's the difference.
I still
But
say I enjoy the digital underground part. So like that's the only redeeming 2 minutes that that movie has. So
but with that, now that some films in the 90s are secured, perhaps we will do this again for other decades. We'll find out through decades of cinema what other films have
nice.
survived. But I think otherwise we'll wrap it up. We'll get out of here. Normal social media plugs, Mike Barcode, TikTok, Instagram, like, subscribe, 5-star reviews, leave comments, all the normal stuff that helps us get out to places that we beg you for. And we are begging. I have no shame. Please engage with us. It helps. We like it. We appreciate it. We enjoy it. And it helps algorithms. With that, though, as always, I will give Randall the final word as we, I don't know, take off on this space adventure to watch 14 films forever and ever.
Yes. As the curtain comes down. Goodbye, everybody.